Welcome to another episode of Debatable NFL Edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co-host Seb. It was reported this morning, right, that Deshaun Watson will be the starting QB1 for the first week of the NFL season. And moving forward, right? We've seen it has been a story really ever since not Deshaun Watson, but Shador Sanders was drafted, right? He was going to a team, right, in the Cleveland Browns that already had multiple QBs, right? They already had Dylan Gabriel, right? We already know Deshaun Watson was still injured, but he was still on the roster. We get now to the training camp, right? They're battling, right, to see who will be that QB1. Deshaun Watson is now healthy, and it really is just let the best man start. Now we will not these practices. We can't really say 100% who was better, but their coach feels like Deshaun Watson should start. Before I let you go, I'm just gonna just give my thoughts real quick. Short term and long term. Was this the best decision long term? No. And was this the best decision short term? No. But this was the best decision business wise, right? This was a man that they gave a lengthy contract to. All these owners, right? They care number one about making money and getting the return on your dollar, right? They got Deshaun Watson here off that trade. And thus far, up to today's date, they have nothing to show for it. Nothing good otherwise, right? We already know all the off the off field scandals that he's been involved in. If we're talking on the field, he's done absolutely nothing, right? So if you make a move like that, you at least have to see, can I get any juice out of this carton, man? Like I just bought it, right? So I get it from that aspect, but I said short term, long term, no, because Shador Sanders is just that guy for your team. The kids love him. He's great in the fan base. You see, he's always studying game and always locked in. He says all the right things in the media. And I think just for moving forward, if you just gave him that confidence, right, that assurance that he would be QB1, I think he would be even better, right? So I think at the end of the day, he will be the QB1 for Cleveland as we move weeks and weeks more into this season. Because I just don't see Deshaun Watson just holding up his end of the deal. And that's just going on, what have you done for me lately? Which has been nothing but massages. There's been nothing football wise. Someone showed me the game or the moment to where he's shown that he could turn this franchise around. It's been absolutely nothing. So I just want to once again shout out Shador for keeping his head on straight, not letting the media, right, or the coach just get in his mind or under his skin. Just stay ready. Your moment will come. We'll see what Deshaun Watson does week 1, but overall, was this the right decision for the field? No, but for your money, Deshaun Watson was the right choice.
To me, if I had to break it down, I think that for this move, for them to start Deshaun Watson and completely go all in, or even have a thought about should we start Shador Sanders, tells me that the skill gap wasn't that big of a difference to where it was a needle mover to where Deshaun Watson automatically got to start or Shador Sanders automatically got to start. So relatively, they're at the same level. So if Deshaun Watson doesn't produce within the next 3 to 4 games, or maybe even 5 games, there's gonna be a case scenario where Shador Sanders takes over as quarterback duties. So I look at it in that limelight more so like a last year thing with the Giants, for instance, how Russell Wilson, played maybe like the first 4 or 5 games. Things didn't work out. Then it took over. Then it's Jackson Dart show. I think that's what just happened. I think veteranship is one thing that's definitely most important. And another thing is just the contract that they had. As a Cleveland Brown, you can't have somebody that's on that big of a contract, being a second string quarterback compared to a second year player that's on a rookie minimum deal. So I think, financially wise, it shows that we have to be more serious about our starting quarterback that we paid all this money to. Otherwise, it's gonna look like a flop, or we're gonna look like we just donated money. So I take that into accountability. I also take that last time we seen Deshaun Watson on the field wasn't the best. So he's still in the contract. That's something that the franchise, or at least owes him to at least see what he's able to do, because at that point in time they did bring him in despite all the allegations, despite having all this hoopla in the background to his name. They still brought him in though. You know what you was getting with Deshaun Watson. You know everything that was transpiring, yet you brought him in. So you feel as if this is our franchise quarterback, but the discrepancy isn't that far off, I believe though. So I believe they made this move based on veteranship and just the money that was paid to him. So I always think it's too late to back down their word. I wouldn't be surprised if Shedur starts after week 5 or 6. So a skill gap to me is not that big of a difference. F4 we're still contemplating whether or not who should start though. I just think that money was involved, and we got to go with this person that we paid that much money to, and just overall, just the fact that Deshaun Watson was just somebody that was picked up before for a certain amount of money. Yeah, so should have been Shador. I think Shador should at least get a little bit more time to analyze the game to see where Deshaun Watson makes the right reads or where he gets wrong, where he does wrong at. I don't think there's going to be no doubt in my mind that Shador Sanders is going to be the Browns' future quarterback for years to come. But I think just right now with Deshaun Watson, I think there's a lot of momentum riding on him, especially coming back from an injury too.
Yeah, I think we both agreed to the point, right? You just gotta try to reap what you can from this investment. But to your point that, the skill gap must have not been that different. I feel in that case, right, then Shador should have been the starter. Deshaun Watson has been in the league for like how long now? Has it like how long has he been in the league? For 7, 8 years?
Yeah, around that time.
Right. So if I got a 7, 8 year vet looking just as good as my second year QB, then I see why I don't think right I should not play the young kid. But once again, this comes down to money. We all know how these NFL owners are. I'm just not surprised that this was the decision to happen. But a question I do have for you. Let's say he does start, right? Watson. He's not looking good though the first couple games, right? He ends up going to the bench. Do you see him sort of revitalizing his career with another team? Or if it does not work here with the Browns, is his career over?
I wouldn't say his career was over. I'd say more so as fighting for QB duties on another team. So there could be a point and chance to where he does the Joe Flacco method and just bounce from team to team, being either a first string quarterback or a second string quarterback. I think Deshaun Watson is still, a proven quarterback in this league. Dating back to his time at the Houston Texans, where he had that glory, he had his prime though. He is capable of maybe winning you a couple games here and there though. But sometimes, your prime is over, but you still have some service to the league to where you would be a hell of a quarterback 2 or quarterback 3 within that lineup, though. So more so as if depends on the type of Deshaun Watson we see. If we see a struggling one, there could be a point and chance to where he will be a quarterback 2 on another team. And if it's a Deshaun Watson that's been solid this far, and coming out to the season hot and giving the Browns some momentum, uh, his stock is gonna just I want to say rise. It will stay the same necessarily in that case scenario.
Okay. All right. Moving on. I seen a report either yesterday or 2 days ago to where Tyreek Hill's agent saying that they are going to take their time to find the best destination spot for the star wide receiver. Last time we seen him, once again, we brought up on this platform multiple times before, he was being carted off the field smiling, right? And we all thought it was because he just does not have to deal with the craziness that was going on with the Miami Dolphins. But the question is as simple as this. It was if you could fantasy book, right? Where do you think Tyreek Hill moving forward should be playing football?
If it was up to me, I would have Tyreek Hill playing football. I'd say with the Steelers, just give Aaron Rodgers that threat to really catch a ball from a deep somebody that's really a very fast runner, a very fast route runner as well. I think him in a matchup with Aaron Rodgers, who's really looking to only throw and can really sling the ball still at this age. I think that would be a match made in heaven. I think with that whole wide receiver room with Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, I think you give yourself a lot of options to be an explosive offense. So if I'm Tyreek Hill, I think the Steelers would be my go-to. And then in years to come too, I believe Drew Alt, who's a rookie quarterback, definitely could take over the reins. My second option was definitely would be Buffalo, just to give them that versatility more offensively. So I say either between those two teams, the Steelers and Buffalo.
Yeah, speaking of the Steelers, I didn't think of that destination. I think it would be right interesting to watch for this year, right? Seeing that this is Aaron Rodgers' last year, and let's just go all in for it, right? I wouldn't be mad at that. I just don't know if Tyreek Hill would agree to a long-term deal there. Seeing how good is this backup quarterback? Now, I know we've seen some flashes in the preseason, right? Especially that week 1 to where he did look really good. But just how much does Tyreek Hill just have faith in him? Because once again, this is the last year of Aaron Rodgers, right? And if he was to go there, we all know after this year that he ain't gonna be there. So do you want to continue to sort of be in a, I don't want to say rebuilding situation, but I don't think they would be in the top 5 to even 10 teams, right? When people are saying who's gonna win the Super Bowl. So I think it would be interesting once again for this upcoming year. I was also thinking the Bills though. I think that would give Josh Allen his best chance he has had to win, right? We spoke when we was doing our top 10 teams entering this season that the Bills, right, just whoever Josh Allen has is going to make them a threat. But we know that he hasn't really gotten over the hump because once he gets into the playoffs, he hasn't really had that reliable, right, wide receiver one that he knows that he can trust in high leverage situations. Right now, we've seen that they have DJ Moore over there now, and that's definitely going to help. But could we imagine if he did have a Tyreek Hill and Tyreek Hill is still at least 80% of what he was before just with that speed? I think we would see the best version of Josh Allen. And I definitely think they would be a contending threat. I think that would be very interesting to see. Um, we already know, I've already said the Chiefs a million single times, right? Sometimes you gotta go back to what's worked, right? How many times have we seen in relationships people just go back to their ex? That's just where you feel comfortable at, right? So I'm saying Patrick Mahomes coming off his injury, you bring back in a Tyreek Hill along with the other weapons they got over there in Kansas City. I definitely think that would be must see TV and a great story to watch, man. Um, But yeah, I think anywhere he goes at the end of the day, he would be making them a better team. Um if I'm him, I'm trying to go once again to a contending team. I don't think he's at the point in his career so he wants to be in a rebuilding situation. So I'm very interested to see what happens. I'm surprised you didn't mention your Chargers. What's going on there?
Yeah, we're working with the young boys right now. I like developing. I think more so a win now team could use him more so as just a reliable option. Because if it was up to me though, that's a whole bunch of other teams I would say though. But I think realistically, those two teams would definitely benefit of having a Tyreek Hill.
Also, are you saying before the season even starts that the Chargers are not a win now destination? They're not winning now.
Nah, well, we're still winning now though, but I think we're just relying with our young talent more so than going with our more veterans. I think that's another reason why we didn't bring back Keenan Allen, because I think more so we're still trying to develop Lad McConkey into being our wide receiver one. Quinn Johnson still has more to develop. Trey Harris is definitely taking this step for year two, and Breeden Thompson is going to be like Tyreek Hill, fastest runner, wide receiver out of the draft this year. So we're going to stick with our young talent. But for any other team, just like you said, even the Chiefs, you might have to go back to what works.
Yeah. All right, so we will be on Tyreek Hill watch over the next couple of weeks. Let's see, will he start the season with a team or is this a pickup mid-season? We shall see. Let's talk a little bit about the 49ers, right? A team that just feel like over the last 2 to 3 seasons just have not been healthy, whether it's been injuries to Kittle, whether it's been injuries to McCaffrey, whether it's been injuries to their quarterback, Brock Purdy. It just seems like they have not been able to get that bad injury juju just away from their team. But the question is, if healthy, right? And I've seen that Kittle, right, is ramping up to come back. McCaffrey will be healthy going into this start of the season, and Brock Purdy is ready to go. If all the pieces are aligned, is this the most what's the word I'm trying to say? Is this the most under undercover dangerous team in the NFL?
Um, Undercover dangerous team. Yes, I always feel as if the 49ers are always a dangerous team due to Kyle Shanahan's offense, Christian McCaffrey's ability to be just explosive, dual threat within the running and receiving game as well. You pick up a veteran in Mike Evans, who should be solid for you, but it's a lot to ask for them, especially at this age. A lot of their careers. George Kittle, somebody that's an elite tight end when healthy. If not him, then Jake Tonjes was definitely a solid backup too for them. But I don't know with them. I think to me, I feel as if the 49ers, their peak in their prime expired maybe like their last Super Bowl run, because every time you look up, it's the if they're healthy, if Fred Warner is healthy, if Bosa was healthy, if even McCaffrey at a point, if he's healthy. And last season, he gave us one of his healthiest seasons too, and it still wasn't enough though. So it's kind of crazy to say, because you still got the Brock Purdy's of the world that could get injured at any given time. This team, shit, I don't know. I think their their prime is their prime is past them.
Okay. You're saying they're not in their prime anymore. So is this a make or break season for the team? Meaning, if they don't right make it to the playoffs and at least win a game, right? Do you blow up the team?
Yeah, I do believe you blow up the team. I think more so that this is a team that you've seen what they were able to do. And I forgot they got Debo Samuels back though too as well. So this is not a bad team, but it's like, is this a team that is going to keep flirting with the idea of being a Super Bowl? This is a team that is going to keep flirting with the idea of that if they're healthy, they're going to be the upper echelons in the league. This is a team that is banking on their health. And when you bank on a health rather than can a player deliver, it's more so a lot of trials and tribulation to where shit could be too good to be true, that we're on a roll right now, but it's only a matter of time before someone, I'm not going to say no names because I'm not going to wish no injury upon nobody upon that team, but somebody's going to be bound to get injured, and then it just kills all type of momentum. Even in the beginning of last season, Mac Jones took over for quarterback duty at a point in time, and they was balling. Brock Purdy came, they was balling. The next thing you know, it's either somebody's in and somebody's out the lineup. So a team like that, if they were overall healthy, would make a lot of noise. Has dealt with the adversity of that. We just can't stay healthy. So
Yeah.
I think it would be perfect to. I want to say perfect. It'd be unfortunate, you didn't get to maximize just the idea of the 49ers being as talented as they was with that year that they went to the Super Bowl. And I didn't even mention Brandon Ayuk, who went completely freaking J Cat and went laced. So it's like Even
Okay,
that,
so
I
wait, so what do you mean that he's laced? Like, because
just fried.
are you saying because he's speaking his mind that he's laced?
The nigga said, "Yo, go Commanders, go." Nigga, like I don't know. If you tell me Brandon Ayuk is right in the head, I'm concerned for you.
No, I'm just asking. Listen, I don't know what's going
Right?
on with that brother. You feel me? He may be a Commanders
This
fan, but I don't know.
he's a Commanders fan, but he's on contract with the 49ers, bro. He thought he was just gonna say, "I'm gonna sign with the Commanders." He calls Jaden Daniels and said, pick me up." He's on that shit. Trust me, I know a couple niggas is on that shit back in the day. I ain't gonna say no names though, but it sounded like
Now, who
somebody.
you talking about? Like, who you saying is on drugs? Like, who? Like, what do you mean?
It's a crazy world we live in, man. I don't know.
You saying that he on that Kai Jones pack?
Might as well be, man. He on that Kai Jones pack.
Like the Jaden Ivy?
Mm, I think the Kai Jones pack is stronger than the Jaden Ivey pack.
All right, all right. All jokes aside, I brought up this question today because I feel like this is a team that no one is speaking of, right? But if you look on paper, it's talented. So, and it's just to the reason that Seb just alluded to, that they just can't stay healthy. They either start off the season hot and dwindle down because of injury, or they start off slow and pick it up, but then don't end the season well because a Kittle may go down, or a McCaffrey, or a Prudy, or whoever it may be. So I'm looking at the damn medical staff. What the hell is going on? But I understand it's the game of football and niggas be getting fucked up. Like that's why the what's like the average career, like 6 to 7 years. So it's understandable, but I don't feel the quantity makes any sense. So they gotta figure that out because I feel like it would be a shame. So it's just sort of like Seb said, if you're not able to maximize this window that you have, that's looking like after this year, I just don't see it happening because you have teams that are getting better, right? So definitely going to be an interesting team to watch. And it's really right. Can you catch fire at the right time? Because in sports, and whether it's basketball, football, tennis, hockey, no matter what it is, if you don't have your stars, you're not going to be able to get it up. It usually comes down to which team is healthiest. So shout out to the 49ers. I hope that they do have a healthier season than years past, but only time is going to tell there. Um, Moving on to our last topic. I'm surprised we actually got through it. Um, we have a lot of young, prospering QBs here in the NFL trying to make a name for themselves, right? This may be the most talented the league has ever been, right? My question to you is, which young quarterback do you feel is in the best position to take the next step this upcoming season?
Um, recency bias is gonna lead me to say Tyler Schultz for the Saints. I've been impressed with his game. Ever since the last year when he took over quarterback duties for Spencer Rattler, I feel like there was a momentum shift within the organization for the New Orleans Saint. I feel as if they had started off with Tyler Schultz a little bit earlier within the season, they could have been looking themselves as a team that could have made it within the playoffs because of the weak conference at the end within the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then who else? Let me just check. Yes, the NFC South. The Falcons and the Panthers. Those games were literally split by one game apiece. It had a point in time where the Panthers, Falcons, and Buccaneers were tied last year, and then the Panthers end up just being in the playoffs just off the strength of luck, really. Just the things favoring out in their season. But overall, though, I think Tyler Schultz, from what I'm watching last year, a quarterback that's more so of a dual threat, can run the ball when he has to, can sling the football. I think the connection between him and Chris Olave is going to be special if Chris Olave can stay healthy. Jordan Tyson, the rookie that they just drafted, I believe would be a very good receiver. I know that he just went out within training camp and preseason due to a hamstring injury, so I need him to get healthy soon. I like the idea of bringing in Travis Etienne, somebody that's a dual threat more so in the running and receiving. Worked hella well with Trevor Lawrence, and I believe given if the opportunity can have a good connection with Tyler Schultz as well too. Um, I'm missing somebody else. I literally am. Let me check the wide receiver core. The Steiner boy, yes, Brock Steiner. Oh
Braun
shit,
Breaker.
whose son is that? I think that's what's that nigga name? Yes, Scott Steiner's son. He should be interesting. He should be interesting. I've got all about that boy. But now overall though, I think the Saints are gonna have an interesting season. I think they're gonna have a way better start than what they did last year. I think year two Tyler Schultz is gonna be indicative on to show what he's learned from last season and how could he get better overall.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I know he's a QB that really picked things up within the last couple of weeks of this season. So people are betting high on his stock right now. I'm not mad at it. How good the Saints are going to be, I can't call that. I don't expect them to be that good. Also seen a report that Alvin Kamara won't even be starting the season due to an injury. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they try to produce wins. When it came down to this question, I was really looking at two QBs for two different reasons. One, I would say CJ Stroud. I feel like that's a QB that like has to get it done. I don't feel like there's even an excuse. It was the team that last season, right, which had the best defense. A lot of teams, well, not teams, but fans felt like they were in the prime position to win it all, and Mr. Stroud wasn't able to get it done. Hold on.
My thing is, while he talk, is CJ Stroud still considered a young quarterback? If that's how we want to base this thing off, though. What year is CJ Stroud in year 4 or 5? And his best year was what? His rookie year, which is kind of crazy to say, where he took the league by storm. But other than that,
Is
though,
he not a? Is my fault, y'all? Is he not a young QB?
uh,
Is he?
yes and
What,
no.
what, how old is he? Like, what year is this? Am I bugging?
Got to be year. Isn't that year 4 or 5?
If it's year 4 or 5, he a young QB. I didn't mean coming off their rookie season. Like, goddamn, my boy Unc, cause he cut his hair.
No, he's entering his fourth season.
Yeah, so I felt like once again, based off the expectations coming off last year and how he just did not get the job done. Last time we seen him against the Patriots, he looked like complete shit. And the weeks leading up to that, he looked like dog shit. So I feel like there is a lot of writing on the wall for this young QB. He's gonna have to get it done this season. The defense is still gonna be good. They brought back a lot of their offensive weapons. I feel like the Texans should have high expectations for him, and he kind of has to get it done. I just don't see a world to where he feels like he can none of
You're lagging, brother. You're lagging. Somebody tell Just he's
Go
lagging.
ahead, Seb. I might have a bad connection if you can't hear me.
Yeah. Um. I'm not mad at the idea of CJ Stroud. There's always room to get better. I just think more so in a sense to where I think CJ Stroud is, and plus coming out of a what is it, contract year for him? he should play better. But when I think of young quarterbacks, I think of quarterbacks what season two and now maybe three, third going on fourth. I think we've seen enough to where we could kind of determine what type of quarterback he's going to be. Maybe a one year he might be all pro, the next he might be who knows. I think I give him the benefit of the doubt. I think if I just don't know with CJ Stroud. I don't know if he gets better as a quarterback or he just stays the same. But it was definitely going to be interesting to see. I know his team has dealt with a lot of injuries overall, so I don't know if that impacts his play or maybe he has to go somewhere else to really bring back the stock within his name though. But I just don't know with CJ Stroud, honestly.
Right. But another quarterback that I was wanted to talk about was Jaden Daniels. Right. Someone just coming off injury. Right. Missing what all of last season
All right.
and and you know the team was in a good state because when he was playing on that rookie year, he brought them to heights that I don't think no one really expected. So I feel like him not coming off the injury, it's that stigma of is he still gonna be that good? All right. Is he now going to start to digress? Um, just what do you think of Jaden Daniels and what are your expectations?
Jaden Daniels, my expectation for him this season more so to just get back to how he was playing in year one. He did lose a lot of options within Debo Samuels. Even the year before that, he did lose Brian Robinson as his starting running back though. So he's more so dealing with the idea of having relatively a fresh new roster. He still got Terry McLaurin. He got the addition of Stephon Diggs. Um, it's gonna be a lot for the Commanders to do. I think more so of just finding a legit team chemistry. But other than that, though, they should be all right. Just the idea of Jaden Daniels coming back healthy is gonna definitely give them a boost that is definitely gonna be needed. They picked up Rashard White as their running back, so that should help them, especially with JCM to see if he's even able to what I'm saying, hold down the fort. Did he get better for a year two? We see a breakout year as running back for JCM. Um, I'm just very interested to see how well the offense is. Um, I think more so for this team is about how good of a start can they come off to. Because if they come off to a sluggish start and everything is not connecting, it's going to be a long season for the Commanders, though. But if they give themselves some room to where they start off good for weeks to come, and they possibly run down the line into some injuries, it's going to give them the grace to where they can necessarily, what I'm saying, have rooms to play bad for maybe a couple weeks late within the season.
Yeah. Um, I agree with the points you just said. It's going to be interesting to see how the offense is going to look. I know they added a Stephon Diggs, right? I think that's definitely going to be a piece that definitely helps them, right? Just having that veteran presence there. Um, I feel like always coming off injuries, really, in any sport. I'm always looking at like that first week, right? Your first month back. Because I know if I'm the opposing defense right now in football, I'm doing everything I can to knock you on your ass. All right. I need to see can that body hold up? Right. So it's gonna be interesting to see can they protect the quarterback, right? Because he wants to start to feel comfortable again. How's he gonna feel on that first snap? Right. So it's gonna be interesting. Who's the coach they got over there, Seth? What's his name?
What is the bro's name? Go Commanders, go.
And I'm asking Seth to search him over because I'm a fan of
Dan
him.
Quinn.
Right, Dan Quinn. I definitely love his style. Not afraid to take risks. I always see him trying to empower his quarterback. I love this with the connection I've seen when James Daniels was out there, right, with him at the helm. So, the Commanders are gonna be interesting, man. Truth be told, y'all, I just want this season to start. I need to see what's going on and who's a fucking joke, right? But shout out to all. There's all the players ready to go, man. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see who steps up and who comes out the hot starts and who gets off the bad start. And all season, we're gonna be here with y'all, man. So that's gonna do it for this episode of It's Debatable NFL Edition. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Follow us on all social media platforms at It's Debatable double underscore. Help us get out the hood, man. Right? Help me and Seth get out the hood. Like, I'm tired of being broke. And it's y'all niggas who could help, bro. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Subscribe. I'm talking to you watching right now who's about to click off and go eat some ramen noodles. Yeah. You right there, bro. Just hit the subscribe button, bro. You got anything to say, sir?
Spirit change.
Spirit change. Jersey.
And that's a wrap.